Okay, I'm going to talk today about something that is so important if you are going on the journey of getting your life back. Whether you've been dealing with abuse in the home or at your job, or maybe it's in a friendship. But I want to talk a little bit about nervous system healing, because once you get your nervous system under control, the other things are a lot more manageable. And this is something that you can do at any point during your journey, okay? So I think one of the things that I noticed a few years back is that I was trying to feel calm, and I had removed alcohol in my life at that point. I had made the decision that that just wasn't helping me. And some of you are in that crossroads right now where you're like trying to figure out like, what's gonna make me feel better? I just wanna feel better. My body's been in extreme anxiety for so long that I don't even know what it's like to not be anxious. If you're in that spot, I want you to know that I lived with actual panic attacks, generalized anxiety disorder. I lived with that for 12 straight years. And it was so bad. I would have sometimes so many panic attacks that I couldn't drive. Just getting in the car, my heart would race. My tongue would feel like it's swelling. My throat would feel like it's closing up. Sometimes I would feel dizzy, in the middle of driving, and I couldn't explain it. So that's your nervous system and it needs a break. It needs a break. But how do we give it a break when we have responsibilities? It's really hard. And so I found that years ago, I was trying to calm my nervous system with alcohol, which only made it worse. I want you to know, study the effects of alcohol in the brain and then tell me after you read it or after you go through it, tell me what it does for your anxiety, because it's not good. So that was the first thing I realized, is I needed to just part ways. I just wanted to feel better. The second thing that I really struggled with is sleep. Who out there also struggles with sleep? Okay, so here's what's happening in the body. When you have raised cortisol levels, okay, which happens in domestic violence, and it also happens in really high stressful lives, your body will maybe fall asleep, but then at 1 to 3 a.m., it pushes more cortisol and your body surges and you wake up with racing thoughts. If you have been there, I get you. I felt for years I just slept in increments. So I would say the first step is to recognize the pattern that's going on in your life. Because if you don't recognize what's happening, it's hard to fix it. And I really believe the Aura ring saved my life. I asked for it as a gift. It is something you can also finance into 12 payments. There's some different ways that you can get it, but it was something that saved my life, because when I went in and talked to a functional doctor after considering ending my life after conflict, she looked at my Aura ring reports. I was like, well, I wear the Aura ring, and I've been wearing it for the last several months, because I kept saying in my relationship, I kept saying, I'm not doing well. Something's not right. And it was not being taken as seriously. And so I knew if it was measuring my biometrics, that eventually something would show up, and it did. And so I was told that I only had gotten 4 to 5 hours of sleep on average for the last, it was from February to July. So my nervous system was struggling healing because, y'all, it wasn't getting enough sleep if you're not getting enough sleep, your body cannot reset the same way. So I do recommend, if you are struggling right now with sleeping, the first step is to get your sleeping right. And I tried natural remedies, but at that point, my body was so fried. I needed something with more strength. And so the nurse practitioner and I worked through some things. She's a really well-known one here in my area. And she has an amazing story. But her and I worked through a few things, and we regulated my sleep using medication. Something that was considered non-addictive, and something that would allow me to stay asleep long enough for my brain to repair, and also to produce. If you're not getting enough sleep, your body's not producing enough serotonin, and so your moods are also fluctuating. I do want to point out, if you have ADHD, a lot of times people with ADHD, like myself, we struggle with sleep as well. So if you have that layered on top of the other things, it can be that much harder to get sleep. So the first step in a better nervous system is to get more sleep. And if you're living in a household where your partner is not supportive of you getting enough sleep, that is a basic health thing that you need to get better, and you deserve sleep. So if you have to separate so that you can heal your nervous system, I do encourage doing so. If you have to take a break from your job and maybe take something with less pressure, or even talk to your spouse or partner about not working for a period of time so that you can get your health back in order, I want you to do that. I'm giving you encouragement and permission that's hard to give yourself when you're in the middle of a really tough situation. Now, again, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I am also not a lawyer. It's not legal advice. It is simply somebody that's sharing information in hopes that we create a better world, okay? Because we cannot be productive members of society, and we're not bettering anybody by staying in these cycles, okay? And I will tell you that in relationships that I've had that did not respect sleep, and that did not encourage me to get more sleep, or they prevented me from getting sleep, or they made me feel bad about sleeping more, they were also very unhealthy relationships. So that is also a key indicator. Your partner and your spouse should not want to run you ragged, they should want to help you get the things that you need to be fruitful and joyous and at peace. And if you're having to fight for basic needs, it's time to reevaluate, because you don't deserve that, okay? And it is a form of abuse. All right, so some things that really helped me is I also asked for my birthday. I asked for a weighted blanket. That is one of the best things, period, for your nervous system, especially if in the past you've been used to sleeping close to somebody, or you're neurodivergent at all. The weight actually helps calm the nervous system, and there's different levels. You can get one that's thinner or thicker. Mine is the medium level, but I double it. So I'm I want as much weight on me as possible. It helps me from moving around all night, and it's not too heavy. I was pleasantly surprised, and that's why I doubled it. So that, I think, has been one of the biggest helpful things outside of getting just myself back in the rhythm of sleeping. So the other thing is creating a calm environment before bed. And this is where boundaries come into control. It's really, really important for you to not have serious discussions after dinner. For you to be able to sleep in a room with like no light on, or if you have light, it's like a red light or like something that encourages sleep, not discourages. If you do share a home, or you're married or living with somebody and they have an opposite schedule, I recommend maybe like finding a way that you can sleep in a different room for a period of time where there's quiet. Noise canceling headphones or earplugs. You can buy earplugs, I'm not kidding, for like $3 at Walmart. And like go to the hobby section where there's like hunting, or you can go to an academy and they make earplugs that you can plug in. Your sleep is the secret, and rest is the secret to healing your nervous system. Because every time you reactivate and you're sleep deprived, it's like you're detracting, you're removing like what's in your sleep bank account, you know, like what's in your health account, like if you can imagine your body like a bank account. Every time that you are trying to fight through something without enough sleep, you're removing, it's like you're pulling money out of it, you know. And we don't make as good of decisions. In fact, several presidents have stated that the worst decisions that they ever made for our country were on lack of sleep. I also want to point out that women have a tendency to need more sleep than men. So if your spouse is up and ready to go in the morning and you're still struggling, I want you to know that you don't have to feel bad about it. If your brain is going through depression, it needs way more rest. It's operating at like lower activity levels, and it actually needs more rest to be able to heal. So again, if you're not living in an environment that is supportive of these things, then it's time to figure something else out. The Lord will make a way if you depend on Him. It may not look like what you thought it would, but He'll make something available, because He's a Father that cares. And He wants to see His children flourish. So, some other things that I stopped doing. I used to love like documentaries and listening to podcasts that were suspenseful. Cut it out. Like, you don't need sound effects from movies at this point. You don't need a plot line that is suspenseful. You need boring. Like, as boring as humanly possible. And it's going to feel really weird at first, because if you've been in a state of fight or flight for so long, it's going to feel weird to do boring things. But this is the time to get those. There's a reason that those coloring books are out there for anxiety. Like, get a coloring book. Pick up some embroidery. You can buy a kit for like $5. It'll keep you occupied for quite some time. Other things you can do. If you play a musical instrument, this is a great time to practice. Find something that you can do before bedtime that doesn't involve hearing sound effects, any extra stimulus. You want your stimulus to come way down. Loud music, cut it out. Different people find different things soothing. But I found that praise and worship music, one of my favorite groups is called Project of Love, and they have an amazing story. But I found that really helped me through, because it was scriptures that are sung to, and they're really good. Like, they're really, really good. But I found that it helped my nervous system, because when my brain was like going a million miles a minute, I would just put them on and organize something in my house. For some reason, organizing helps me personally, even if it's just like something small, like arranging a single drawer, like not my whole house, not my closet, but just like one thing. That helps produce dopamine and reward yourself. And it also helps feeling accomplished. And when you listen to really soothing, think like what a baby needs. Like, you know how babies get like overstimulated? There's a reason that lullabies exist, and classical music, especially slow classical music, is also really good for the nervous system and the brain to heal. Walking in nature, that's another one throughout this process. Is I had been doing so much high intensity stuff, like high intensity workouts and hot yoga at one point, that I had created a lot of heat in my body. And if you are really into natural medicine, there's the concept in traditional Chinese medicine called heat. And when you have too much heat in the body, you need to bring the heat down because it creates a lot of inflammation. So one of the things that was recommended to me when my nervous system was fried, and also at that time, what is that thing, that tissue that runs from your ear to your ankles in Chinese medicine? I'll think of it in a minute, but it was brittle. Everything was brittle. I couldn't stretch. I couldn't, like, everything was so stiff. And for some reason, that word is not coming to mind right now. But the body was so stiff. And so one of the things that also really helped me was stopping the intensity. Walking in nature is one of the most healing things. Slow stretching, and it's going to feel awkward at first. It's not going to feel like you're not pushing these heavy endorphins out. You want soothing. Same with foods. Soothing foods. I actually removed for like 4 months. I removed all caffeine except for my first cup of the day. That really helped too. Now I can drink caffeine and I'm fine. I don't have any anxiety anymore. Like, things happen and my body is just like, well, it's not as bad as it used to be. It shifted. It just like completely shifted. And I think it took me about 4 months of just nothing. I think the other thing is, like, keep in mind that crowd stimulus at this period of time is probably also not a good idea. Having a friend or a conversation that is emotional is not a great idea at this time. And so I want you to know that this is the time that you are allowed to tell people, I want to address certain things, but right now I'm not in a place to do that. I need to keep everything in my life really low key. You are not going to miss out on things. Things will still be there. And the things that won't be there weren't meant for you. This is the time of your life that you have to put you first. You have to put like your air mask on, you know, like when a plane is crashing. Imagine the plane's crashing and you got to put your air mask on so that then you can help other people. If you have kids and you're having to single parent through this process, I also understand. I think one thing that really helped me is moving the bedtimes so that I also had decompression time in the evening. And then with my teenager, just sharing with her that I want to be there as much as possible, but being real with her. Like, hey, I need a lot more quiet, or, you know, I'm pretty wiped out right now. I want to give you my full attention. And then setting a weekly like date with her. I have a mom and daughter date that we do. And just so that I could give her absolutely uninterrupted time. And I could also prepare myself for those periods of time. And then with my younger child, adapting as much as I could to his rest schedule. You know, like when he's asleep, I need to give myself as much sleep as possible and understand that my brain is not capable of doing as much. And giving myself the okay. Does that make sense? If you can also accept help, you know, if somebody is offering to help you, some of the ways that you can that really help is let them make a meal for you. Or if they're like really good at cleaning, I think the other things that really help is just to let them know, like, what I need help with is some organization, or I need someone to just come by and help me with the house, or help me fold my laundry. Let people help, but I want you to know that in the process, you don't have to feel obligated to entertain them. This is kind of similar to right after somebody has a baby. You know, everybody wants to visit, but that wears the mom out. Let people help, but tell them how they can help. So you would be surprised at how much more support is out there if you just give people the direction. Because most of the time people want to help, but they're just like not sure what to do. So they do what they think is helpful, but that might not be right for you. Okay? Remember, you're thinking as boring and slow as possible during this period. And what will happen is your body will start regulating better, and you'll also start feeling better, and your body will start producing better chemicals. And then before you know it, you're going to be in a place where you start feeling more joy again. But if you're going through depression and anxiety at the same time, your brain's not healthy. And so getting it to a healthy place and your nervous system regulating is going to make all the difference. I want you to also know you don't have to explain yourself during this period. Expect that others are not going to understand unless they've been through it. Some will understand and they're going to be really supportive. Some are not going to understand. They're not going to know what to do. And frankly, anything emotional makes them uncomfortable. That's okay too. Just let them be who they need to be. This is your time to heal. You got time to heal. It talks about it in Ecclesiastes. There's a time for mourning. There's a time for rejoicing. There's a time to heal. You got to heal so that you can go out and be a better mom, or be a better dad, or be a better human, or be a better, you know, like to really take advantage of the things that God has given us. There are periods of time where we've got to bring it all down. Okay. Let's see. Trying to think of what else. Oh, the other thing that's really helpful. Now, if you can afford it, I recommend finding a really good masseuse that focuses on body work. But if you can't afford it, I understand. Get one of these. They're like a shoulder. They go around your shoulders like this. But they will massage like your whole body. They're about $40 to $50. I have one linked on my Shop My under Flight Essentials. I actually took mine on the plane. Everybody thought it was a great idea too. I took it on the plane because it's this one doesn't plug into the wall. Like it charges and then it's remote. It's without a remote or a wire. Use it every day on like different parts of your body, because it's likely that your body has undergone, again, so much stress and tension. Your fascia. Oh my gosh, there's the word in Chinese medicine. Your fascia. Your fascia is probably brittle. And if your fascia is brittle, then it's just, it's like protecting itself, which is natural. Y'all, when I got out of more than one relationship, my fascia was so brittle, I could not even there was a stretch where you lay on your back and you cross your leg over, you twist. I couldn't. It hurt to do that stretch. It took months of just kind of laying in it for 30 seconds to a minute, and slowly it would go down. My body would relax more and more into it, and now it's okay. But I want you to know that stretching, the reason that it hurts so bad right now, if it does hurt, is because your fascia is brittle. And your fascia gets brittle when your body has been self-protecting. So you can, and it also makes your whole body kind of hurt. So getting one of those little massagers, or some people like massage guns, but I found that massage guns are still a little bit too much intensity. And remember, we're trying not to be intense. And I used to live off of intensity. I was like one of those people that prided myself on, I love it. I love work hard, play hard. Nah, not anymore. What I love now is follow God's word and live in my purpose and keep things calm. Because the world provides enough chaos. So the last thing is learning how to excuse yourself from conversations. If something is giving you a lot of anxiety, like an event or someone's asking you to do something that you don't feel comfortable with, again, this is your put your air mask on period of time. Then this is when you politely decline. Just say, I'm not available for that. You know, you don't have to give it reasons. You don't have to explain yourself. Just say, no, I'm not going to be available for that. Or if you're in a tough conversation, again, just setting the boundary and saying, hey, look, I'm really not feeling like I can handle all of this right now. I'm just going to take a pause, and I'd love to come back to this at a future point in time. Excuse yourself and go home. And family holidays, just tell them, like, I'm not feeling great right now, and I'd love to drop by for an hour, but I don't think I can spend all day. Sometimes that kind of stuff is really stressful. It can be fun, and don't get me wrong, I love my family, and I love seeing them. But I also sometimes, it can be overstimulating, and it's nothing about them. It's totally where my nervous system was. And it's funny when I started, not funny, it's interesting to me that as I started sharing, like, my body is just not ready for certain things. I want to be there. And I actually told them what was going on. They were more understanding than I expected. Now, some people are not going to understand. That's okay. Remember, that's okay. They don't have to. You do not. I wrote a post on my blog yesterday. So go to notesonreturning.com. But it talked about this very thing. Like, your value does not have to be validated by anybody. So people don't have to understand. What they need to do is to give you that space and at least the sheer respect of not pushing you. Okay? Again, if you have somebody in your home that is not respecting it, or not, they're being a taker, not a giver. They're taking your energy and draining it. They're not giving you what you need, then time to find a different solution, okay? Because you can't heal in environments that are unhealthy. I want to repeat that. You cannot heal in environments that are unhealthy. And taking that time to go get yourself a healing house or apartment, or even just like a long-term Airbnb or a hotel for like a month or something, like anything, you need quiet. And honestly, you need the quiet for anywhere from like 90 days to 6 months. So anyhow, I just wanted to put that all out there and let you know that you're not crazy. If you've been really struggling, if you feel constant anxiety, if just even like the little things are not easy to get done anymore, if your brain is not organizing information, you are not crazy. You've been in such a state of stress for so long that it's just time to give yourself permission to heal, because the world needs you. And if you stay in that place, it will continuously lead to, oftentimes it leads to self-destruction, or it's just not good. So, you want your family and your kids, and if you have kids, or maybe it's not kids, but you want you want people to see the bright light you are. And it's hard to be a bright light when you're so depleted that it's not healthy. Okay. Anyhow, I'm going to drop a link to Sunday Letters from Notes on Returning. That's my blog. I did a rebrand a while back. It used to be 3 Hill Clicks. You'll probably still see that from time to time. But I kind of went through and switched it over to a new brand called Notes on Returning, because I really felt like that resonated with what is happening. And my goal is to help you return to the person that God created you to be, you know? So I will drop you a link to Sunday Letters. My dog's dreaming right here. And you can sign up every Sunday. I send out some words of encouragement, and then it rounds up all of the posts I did that week. But I'd love to have you a part of all of it and just cheer you on and pray for you. I love you, but God loves you more. And I promise you've got purpose in this life. And I can't wait to hear more about it as you heal.